Hello and welcome back to Running on Pixie Dust. I am your host, Annika, and go ahead and give me a follow on Instagram at Annika's Paintbrush is my main account. But yeah, wow, season 2 of Running on Pixie Dust has begun. We came back with episode 20 of kind of revamping. I don't even know if revamping is the right word. More like bringing back to life the podcast. Because I kind of fell off a little bit there post DOPEY, which happens. We all need a break. It was a long year. So I'm excited moving into this DOPEY Take 2, though. Season 2. We are training for the DOPEY Challenge 2024. Dumpy 2024. Which, I mean, more to come on that. Which, I mean, if you follow me on my Instagram, again, I post there all the time. And my stories can get a little unhinged. But that's where you'll get the updates first, to be honest. So, welcome to episode 21. I aligned this podcast to line up with the Jeff Galloway training program for the DOPEY Challenge starting last year and followed along the training. And while I'm not following Jeff this year, I think I still want to align, at least try to do weekly, maybe if not bi-weekly updates and share the journey because it's a fun one. And by fun, I mean sometimes it's not always fun. So make sure you check out episode 0 to hear my full story and like the intro to what this podcast is, what is the DOPEY Challenge, why did I do this, and all that fun stuff. So as we know, if you've been following along, you knew that 2022 was really my first year of running and training, truthfully. And I'm so excited to get back into it and share things that I learned along the way. So disclaimer, I'm not a coach. I'm not affiliated with Disney or Run Disney or in anyone but myself. So I'm only here sharing my personal experiences and opinions and literally just for fun, just because I love talking about running and I love finding other people who love talking about running and who love sharing their running journey. So that's why I'm here. I just for fun. So definitely reach out if you are a part of this running community and if maybe this podcast inspired you to start running. I love chatting with people who, I guess, listen to the podcast. And even if you don't listen, like that's okay. If you're just a runner in the runner community, I will always chat. So, okay, episode 21. It is June 27th. This is when that's getting posted. DOPEY training has begun. Now, when I say it has begun, I really mean the Jeff Galloway 28 week. I don't remember how many weeks. The 6-month training plan for the DOPEY Challenge specifically from Jeff Galloway, the Run Disney icon, I guess. I don't know what else to call him. Superstar Olympian coach, anyway. But his training plan has begun, and I believe he has you starting off with 2 45-minute runs and then 1 3-mile long run to kind of ease you into it. Although I do remember, I'm pretty sure, I don't have it right in front of me, but I believe in the descriptions for the plans that at the beginning of DOPEY or marathon training or Goofy challenge training that you technically should be able to run a half marathon like at the start of this training and or at least have like the ability, I believe. So I don't know. I definitely wasn't like super trained at this point last year. I had done Princess and many half marathons before, but I hadn't really actually trained for them. So, I don't know. But it's hard because last year I thought I was doing really well, and come race weekend, it turned out I actually didn't do very well. So it's hard to say like you have to kind of figure out what works for you, but I found that I need to train a lot more and in order for me to feel good. So that's the perspective that I'm coming from. Meanwhile, a lot of people can start this plan and they might not even start training until like August or like October. And that works for them. I don't think that would work for me. So that's where I'm coming from. But more on that in a little bit. We are on the countdown to Dumpy, aka Dopey Challenge, then the Dumbo Challenge over in Disneyland. Dopey Challenge is here at Walt Disney World. 4 races over 4 days, 5K, 10K, half marathon, and marathon. Hence why it's called the Dopey Challenge. You gotta be dopey to do it. I successfully completed it in 2023, although I don't know. It depends on how you define success. I mean, yes, I finished. I got the medal, but I felt horrible. I will probably honestly repeat this every episode because it's truly like my inner driving factor of why I'm so committed and dedicated and like laser focused this year, because that marathon took everything out of me. Like it slapped me in the face physically, mentally, emotionally, and in every which way. It took me to dark places and it did make me hallucinate. I actually did hallucinate at like mile 21. But that's not going to happen next year. So that's why I'm like very passionate about like sticking to training and trying out new things and maybe doing more things than other people would think that they need to, because I am just like, there's a fire lit under my butt. I am out for blood. It is personal. I say this on my stories, and I'm going to keep saying it, that I had beef with Dopey 2023, and I'm ready to have an amazing Dopey 2024. Like, that's what it is. Like, I am manifesting it. I'm working towards it, and I'm going to get it. So that's just period. Period. So we've got, and I have to thank my friend Allison, who she was the first one I heard say this, and then we all started kind of just going with it, calling the Dopey to Dumbo Challenge Dumpy, because you combine the words, and honestly, it sounds great to me. I think that's the best combination. So that's what we're calling it from here on out. Countdown to Dumpy 2024. And I'm just so excited. We've got the Coast to Coast Challenge mixed in there, which, if you don't know, the Coast to Coast Challenge is when you complete a half marathon at Walt Disney World, and then you also complete the half marathon over at Disneyland, hence Coast to Coast. And it has to be within the same calendar year, I believe. And they're going to have like 2 options. I think it's 2 different medals, but you can only complete one of them to get the Coast to Coast. It's, I think, if you complete the marathon weekend, half marathon at Walt Disney World, and then over at Disneyland for Dumbo, that half marathon, it's 1 medal. And then if you complete a different half marathon at Walt Disney World, because there's only 1 race weekend at Disneyland, so you have to do that one half. But if you complete the other ones here, then it's like a different one, but you can only get 1, if that makes sense. So we've also got Coast to Coast in there. So how many medals is that? We get 6 with Dopey, and then I'm getting 3 because I'm doing the Dumbo Challenge. I'm not doing the 5K. So I have the 2 race medals for the 10K and half marathon, and then the challenge medal, and then also the Coast to Coast. So hold on. 10. That's a lot of medals. And then if you're doing the 5K at Disneyland, you get that 11th medal for the 5K. I tried to register for it. The only way I could go in now is if it opens up or if I go in through a charity. I'm fine with not doing the 5K because I'm very spoiled living here in Orlando. I don't have to travel for these races. Like, I go from my home. Like, I don't even stay on property most of the time. The first time I stayed on property was this past Dopey, and because I wanted to like completely be immersed and do the whole stay on property and things like that. But normally I don't. Like, I literally just I leave my house at 3 a.m. and just drive up to Epcot, and then I go home after the race to my own shower and with my own food, my own bed at night, and then I go back to the parks for like pictures, and that's really it. Or if to like see other people who are visiting for the races. So I don't know how people do it. Like, again, for them, this is a destination, like this is a vacation, and like it's an entire trip in one. Whereas for me, like it's the races for me. Like, I live here. I don't need to do full park days, and I don't even think that I could. So that part of me is very nervous for Disneyland because I'm used to being so spoiled and having my own bed, own food, again, own shower, like my car, and all of my things, and I don't have to worry about like forgetting something or just, random circumstances. So I'm nervous for that because I'm going to want to do parks. And that's also another reason why I don't really want to do the 5K, because that's a third wake up call. And I believe, oh yes, I'm flying it because we just booked our flights. My mom and I are going to be traveling together from Florida to Disneyland. I stumbled because I was like, I really chose the state to say for Florida, but then I didn't. I was going to choose a city or like Disneyland for California, but whatever. Same thing. We will be traveling together, and we're going to stay on property, and I'm so excited. But we are going to fly in on Wednesday, and then the expo is on Thursday. Then the 5K would be on that Friday, and I don't know. I think I'd rather just focus on like doing the parks Wednesday and then expo Thursday morning and then go to the parks again and not have to worry about waking up early on Friday. And then do the parks like for a little bit on Friday and then go to bed early for my Saturday and Sunday races. I think that just sounds better to me, and it's not a part of the challenge, so I don't really care about it then. Anyways, all that to say, I'm so excited for Dumpy, and I have part of my flights booked, and I still have to figure out coming back, and there's just a lot of things to figure out. So we've got time, though. Moving on to my highs and lows of the week / past couple of weeks, I guess. But starting off with my highs, I am feeling very strong going into training. I have a good kind of routine and flow going. And I registered for Princess. So Princess registration happened. The Run Disney Princess Half Marathon weekend registration was last week. And I am signed up for the 5K and the Fairy Tale Challenge. I'm really excited. So, hot take, I love the themes. I know people were hating on the artwork and think that like they're not gonna like the medals, and I know a lot of people who actually didn't register for anything Princess because they just like weren't a fan of it, but I'm a big fan. I am a huge fan. I thought it was really cool, and I think some people mentioned that it kind of looked like stained glass vibe, and I get that, and I honestly really like it. Like I like this take that they went, and it's different than what they normally do, which honestly, I don't mind because I don't want the same thing over and over and over and over again. You know what I mean? And they really changed up with the princesses. And I don't think so. I've never done a race with these princesses. So the 5K has Ariel, and the 10K is Rapunzel. Half marathon is Princess Tiana, and then the challenge are Anna and Elsa. So I'm obsessed. When that came out, I was like, crap, do I have to do the whole weekend? Because I wasn't even going to register. I mean, I was for sure going to do the 10K because Punzi, hello. And I have friends traveling in. They're registered for the 10K as well, so we're all going to do it together. And I'm so excited. And I think it's one of my friends' first 10K. So it's just going to be a really fun time. But it is also very soon after Dumpy because Disneyland ends, what is it, like January 14th, and Princess is February 22nd is like the expo day. So that's like, it's a month in between, and I'm running nearly 70 miles in a week, basically, a month prior to that. So I was very hesitant this year. This past year, I only signed up for the 10K because I knew it was right after DOPEY, and I was really grateful that I did that because I did not want to start training for the half marathon immediately following DOPEY. I needed a much longer break because, again, I personally think that I was not as trained as I could have been. So that's not going to happen this year, though. And so that's why I felt comfortable being like, okay, I can do this. I talked with my coach about it, and she was like, I mean, as long as you're good with like taking it easy and like we're not going for PRs in Princess Weekend, then all right. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. I'm really excited. I love the artwork again. I can't wait. So that was a high. Moving on to my lows. Oh my God. Dude, I was going to lose my mind, I think, this past week because it was just one thing after another, after another, after another. Let me explain. So I have my running shoe that I love. I run in Hoka Gaviota 4s, and I was originally fitted at a Roadrunner store back in Oregon when I was living there before I moved back to Florida. When I first got fitted and got my running shoes before moving back and then training for Wine and Dine. So I was going to take it like a little bit more seriously and like get better running shoes. So I got fitted, loved the shoe. I ended up getting fitted for custom inserts as well. And so now I just continuously order the custom inserts because I have my scan on file now online because there's no Roadrunner store in the state of Florida. The closest one is in Atlanta, and that's so annoying because we just don't have high quality running options here. But anyway, so that has been my shoe. I love that shoe, and I think those were actually Hoka Gaviota 3s because that was just what they had at the time. And then fast forward to the following year, I wore those shoes for way too long. I only had one pair of shoes, and I, again, didn't track miles on them. I ran every run in them, and they died. Like, I probably ran in them for too long. But I finally got freaking new shoes in November of just last year, and I had done all my training in those first shoes, which is, thinking back on that, I'm like, how did I not get severely injured? Because they were way overdue, and now I'm not going to make that mistake again. So learn from me. But anyway, I got the next model, Hoka Gaviota 4s, and ordered my same size, and it was perfect. I ordered like 3 pairs because I wanted them for DOPEY, and it was November, December time, and so DOPEY was the following month. And so I wanted different shoes for each race because, like, what if it rains? And just, I did not want to have to deal with that. I wanted like separate shoes for each race, and just that's how I wanted to do it. And so I ordered all my shoes. They came in. They're perfect. They're great. I ordered the inserts. Every shoe had their own inserts. They were ready to go. Perfect sizing, perfect fitting. Everything was great. And fast forward now, I needed new shoes because it's June, and I had put a ton of miles on all these shoes because I retired my like original Gaviota. So that was pair number 1. And then now I had 3 pairs of working running shoes that I had been rotating since like November, December. And then I ran DOPEY in them. So that's like 6 months basically in those shoes. And I put a lot of miles on them, and I could tell, like, just looking at the sole underneath, like they were getting worn down, and I could feel it. Like I could start feeling pains in my knees and my hips. And the second I start feeling that, like, it's a no-go. Like, these are dead. And then I still had to run in them because I was waiting for new shoes to come in. So, sorry, this is a long story. But I went on to Roadrunners online, how I normally did, how I ordered every other shoe, and went and ordered the same exact shoe, Hoka Gaviota 4s, in my size 7, and ordered like 2 new colors. I was like, perfect, these will come in just in time for when I need to retire my other shoes, and then I'll have 2 brand new pairs. I'll be good. And narrator, she was not good. But the shoes came in. They're too small. They're too small. like way too small, like a size too small. I was so pissed. I was like, these are supposed to be the exact same freaking shoe. Like, same model. That wasn't even like a new level to the model. It was exactly a Hoka Gaviota 4 in my same exact size 7 with my same exact inserts. And so it's like, it was not making any sense. But I ended up going to Fit to Run over at Disney Springs to like actually try on shoes, to like see what was up with the sizing. And I needed to size up, but I think in store, I don't know. I think I thought I needed to size up more. So I ordered them in an 8.5 because that's what fit me in the store. And then they come in and I ordered them from like Hoka directly this time because then I wouldn't have to deal with returning and paying for shipping and all that crap. But the 8.5s come in. They're too big. I was like literally gonna just pass away. I was like, are we kidding? This is so frustrating because searching for like working gear is the bane of my existence. I was like, I went through this last year. Why do I have to go through this again? Like, I thought I was in a good place and knew what I needed. But no. So those are too big. I ordered the size 8. I'm like, okay, I know the size 8 is gonna fit. I know it's gonna fit. So I'm just waiting for it to get here. And I returned the other ones yet again. Me and UPS, we're like this. We are close. And it's just been a pain because not only that, so I've had this shoe debacle, but rewind a little bit, I'd already ordered the Hoka Clifton 9s because I wanted the all white and my Hoka Gaviotas don't come in all white. So purely for aesthetic reasons, I really wanted the Hoka Clifton 9s, and they are not a stability shoe and they aren't quite as cushioned as the Gaviota 4s. So I was kind of taking a leap with whether or not I was going to love these or like use them for long runs. Like, I knew if I liked them, I would still use them for short runs. But those came in early actually because they were backordered until July. And so I thought I was going to get them. So I was so scared that I wasn't going to have any running shoes. But thankfully those came in and I have been running every run in those. But here's the thing. They gave me a big fat blister on my toe. And if you've been following along, it's been a journey, me and my toe blisters. Okay, I don't hold anything back on this podcast. I let you know. Details. So this is a me thing. I get blisters underneath my toes, like underneath, like where your toe kind of like curls, I guess, underneath. And I get like calluses there, but they come and go so quickly, like the calluses, that I'll just like re-get a blister and it'll re-callus and then I start all over. And so that was but a journey in 2022 training. And I finally ordered toe socks from like Amazon, an Amazon brand, because feature socks wouldn't even, like nice expensive socks, I would still get blisters. And so I ordered the toe socks. That was life-changing. No more blisters. Okay, stay with me. Okay, so now we've got our good socks, right? But the key is different shoes need different socks, and that is a tragedy. So I ran in the new Clifton 9s with my toe socks, got a big fat blister, but I've also heard that that's like a Clifton 9 thing. Like, people get blisters. But also I have good friends who own Clifton 9s and that didn't happen to them. But I mean, I think they also just have normal toes. So maybe it's just a me thing. Apparently I don't have normal toes. But anyway, I get this big fat blister on the top of my toe. Like, it is an alien. It's like a second toe. Okay, sorry. That's as much detail as I'll go into, sorry. But I like had to switch socks, and so I've like gone through this sock journey with these shoes, but they're my only working running shoes right now, so like I literally like need to make them work. And to be honest, I actually really like them, and once they feel like more broken in now, and so I kind of just have to figure out my socks situation. But I do really like them. I think for extra long runs, like 8 to 10 plus miles, I think I will still prefer my Gaviotas, because the Clifton 9s have a bit of bounce in them, and so for me, that just the longevity of that for like 10 miles, like I did run 10 miles in them for my first run. I prefer the more cushion and I prefer the more stability. So I do really like them, and I'm going to still run in them, But I think for longer runs, I'm still a Gaviota girl, even after everything that Hoka put me through and their new sizing situation. Because I checked, I had my feet scanned, I'm still the same size. It wasn't me, it was Hoka. Or like the way the shoes are stored, like sometimes they use a different mold, sometimes they're like in a hot warehouse and like that could affect them. So there's just so many things going on. Okay, sorry. Long story short, I'm still waiting on new running shoes because I've had to return them 17 times. And it's been very frustrating. Now, that was frustration number 1. Frustration number 2. I ordered a new running vest because the one I have, it's from Columbia Sportswear from like 6 years ago or something. When was I an intern there? I was an intern there 2018. How many years is that? 5? Huh. Whoa. When I was an intern there, I got like a huge discount, and we had a lot of Columbia stores in Oregon, and so I actually found this running vest in like a clearance rack in one of the stores, and it just like it was the last one. It was like so on sale. I got it for like $30 or something, and it was like really nice, and it was meant for like trail running and whatnot, but I was not a runner at this point, so I was into hiking and everything, and so I would kind of use it for that, but nothing for very long where I probably really needed it. But anyway, I owned this, and so that's what I had been using all last year because I was like, hey, I have this vest. Let me just get a new camelback bladder to go in the back that's insulated and see how it goes. And it did work. It worked for me. But the thing is, I wore it on, I think I did a 10-mile run a couple Saturdays ago. And when I tell you, it was like 100% humidity. Holy crap. Like, summer has been here in Florida. But this one morning, it was so bad. Like, so bad. I think the temperature was up and it was like storming. And so it was like built up in the air. And at 6 in the morning, the humidity was, I kid you not, it had to be at least 98, 99% without raining. And so like the air was so thick. I felt like I couldn't breathe. And my vest that I have, it doesn't have elastic on the front. Like, it's buckled and it's fixed. And so you can loosen it and tighten it, but it doesn't like breathe with you. And so that was one thing I was looking for in a new vest. I like the Solomon vest have those nice like elastic crisscross bungee cord things, and they'll like breathe with you better. I also want one with more pockets because the one I have, it only has like 2, and I've been taking a lot more fuel, and I want to be able to put my phone in there because I can't do that now, and all the features of everything. So basically, long story short, I ordered the Solomon Advanced Skin 5, or it's like ADV. I don't know what that actually stands for. I just assume it says advanced or something. But I ordered a Solomon vest, and it was on sale, and I ordered a size that I thought I would want, but it ended up being too big. So it came in, and I was so excited to wear it, and then I put it on, and I was like, this is not going to work. It's way too big. And so now I had to return that, and then reorder, and then wait another week. And it's supposed to come this week, so hopefully it fits perfectly, and I'm really excited about it if it does. But that was another thing. Frustration number 3 and 4, the same exact toe socks, my same exact running shorts that I ordered from Amazon. The brand was the same, everything's the same. I just wanted more because I'm running more, and my laundry pile is getting so high because of running all the time. But I ordered the same exact things. The same exact things, but they're different. Why? I thought I was losing my mind. I was like, is it me? Am I doing something wrong here? Or is everyone fixing things that aren't broken? I don't understand. I order the same exact toe socks. They're freaking different. And I order the same exact shorts. I put them next to the ones I own. Same brand, same size, same everything. Except they like redesigned them. And so now they're different. And I liked them the way they were before. So I'm like, all right, thanks everyone. I'm just going to go lie down. And anyway, that's been my past 2 weeks, is just ordering things and returning them, ordering things and returning them, ordering things and returning them. And now I'm starting from ground zero again and starting over and having to find all new things because apparently people can't make things the same way that they've made them. So I'm very mad about that. Anyway, my final low is just like summer is here in Florida. Like, every time it's shocking how hot and humid it gets here. My friend she's lived here much longer than I have. She's like been here like 10 years or something. And even she was saying like every time it's like June, July, we're like, dang, it's hot. And like, again, you got to do these runs early now, because if you wait until the middle of the day, like, you're going to pass out from heat stroke. Like, it's just that rough. And even at 6 in the morning, again, humidity is so high. So it's rough either way. But anyways, moving on. Training so far, now that I've complained about everything. So I started with my running coach in late March, and that's been great. I think it's helped me so much with accountability, and we use like the Final Surge app. And if like you've never done coaching or anything, like I think it's a common thing. Pretty much, I can't say all the coaches out there, but I think I know of a lot of running coaches out there that use Final Surge, and they'll like load in your workouts for you, and then you go in and just like see what it is, and like you can comment, and my Garmin automatically loads in my workouts, and like they can see all the things they need to see. And having that where it'll like turn green once your workout like loads in and like you completed what they like set for you to do, it'll turn green, and like that just makes me so happy and like feel so complete. And then if you miss it, it turns red and it's like bad. So the accountability has been amazing. I'm already like feeling so much stronger, and things that like were really hard for me like a month ago, just like the simplicity of working out a couple days in a row, like that alone was like tough for me mentally, just because I was used to like the sleeping in and like a day off and like 4 rest days and that kind of vibe. And I'm like not big into strength training anymore. Like I'm more into running. And so yeah, but that's been really good. And I highly recommend at least finding like an accountability buddy or someone that you can report to, and someone who like will track your progress or at least cheer you on. So I think that will make a big difference. Like I said, I'm not doing the Jeff Galloway plan this year, but I saw that there is 2 45-minute runs and 1 3-mile long run. I was looking back on like my Apple Watch history because I didn't have my Garmin at that time, and I don't think I wasn't using Strava either. So I had to go back and like find my workouts. This week last year, I completed those runs because I stuck to Galloway like pretty closely up until some changes at the end. But I looked and I saw I did my 45-minute run, and I did 3.53 miles. It was 94% humidity, and I had an average pace of 12 minutes and 45 seconds per mile. And my heart rate, so that's one thing I'm taking a closer look at these days, is just watching heart rate. And my average at that time was like 163 to 171. So that's definitely like a little bit higher. But there's just so many factors that come into play. Again, I'm not licensed in anything, and I'm not a professional anything. So take what I say with a grain of salt. But I believe your heart rate should be like a little bit lower on easier paces, just for like overall fitness and whatnot. So I'm learning as we go. And then today I did a 3-mile run, and I averaged about a 12:40 pace, and my heart rate was 144 to 153. So not a huge pace improvement, because it's hard with the summer heat. Like it's tough with the humidity, and even as a Floridian, you go out there, and if you're pounding the pavement. It's rough. But my heart rate has gone down on this quote unquote easier pace where it's just more conversational pace. And that's a good thing, right? So I think overall my fitness is improving, which is a big goal of why I started with my coach earlier on, and having time to build up my fitness to again come into training so strong and already on a routine. So yeah, feeling good about that. So we've been running and strength training consistently for 3 months now, which I had to look back and I was like, are you kidding? Like that's a long time already. Like time flies quick. And I was running 3 days a week and strength training 2 days a week. And then I had one kind of flex day where like I could go on a run, or I could do Peloton or yoga or just walk, or just take a second rest day if I needed to. And that was working out well. I follow the Peloton workout classes for like strength training still, just because I really like those. And I even like was telling my coach this, because like she's a full coach. Like she will help with the nutrition and the strength workouts and all of that, and like wanting to make sure I'm like getting everything done. But I had to tell her, I was like, I don't think I can work out with like just the Tabata timer going. Like I need someone showing me and like telling me what to do and like picking the music, and I just like zone out and like go into the workout. I don't like having to follow like specific things and like reading things, and I was like, that just doesn't work for me. Like someone needs to be working out with me, basically. So yeah, and adding in spicy runs, doing like pickups, learning what pickups are, like learning what my conversation pace is. Like this is just so helpful. And I recently just added a 4th run day, and she's starting me off slower, but eventually we're going to build up, and like the 4th run day is going to be like higher up in mileage. So it's all about that weekly mileage. I think that will honestly be great. Okay, moving on. I have a little section here that I wanted to just insert specifically for any first-time dopey runners out there. So I actually received quite a few messages of people who this is their first time they're doing dopey, and they listen to the podcast and have been loving following along my journey, which makes me so happy and is exactly why I post things like this. I go into the details for you guys, and definitely want to share all of my tips and tricks and things that I've learned. So I wanted to give off some beginner runner advice, but as a friend, because again, I am not a coach, not certified. I am not anything. I'm just a person. I'm hardly a person. So this is just like my friendly opinion, so take what you want with that. But I will say starting is the hardest part. And I think a lot of people have struggles with grasping the concept of getting started with something because it's such a daunting task. And I completely understand that, because for me, even simple tasks like just doing my laundry, like that's so hard sometimes because I have to carry the bin across the hallway. And while that sounds so stupid, like that should be such a simple task, it's not. And this is why I'm convinced I have undiagnosed ADHD. But anyway, that's beside the point. While the task might actually be a hard thing, such as running the Dopey Challenge or running a marathon or running your first marathon, or, doing the hard thing, taking the first step can seem impossible no matter how like easy or hard the step may be. So I completely understand that, but you literally have to just do it. Like you have to just decide, okay, I'm putting my running shoes on, I'm going outside, and I'm going to just run for 5 minutes. I'm going to run for 10 minutes. I'm going to go for 1 mile. Tomorrow I'm going to add on and then go for 2 miles. I'm going to start this plan, and having a plan makes all the difference in my opinion. I think having a set day and time that you are doing this, like, okay, Tuesday morning, I'm doing my 45-minute run, and that's that. Period. Commit. And you just lay out your clothes the night before is what I do, and have everything set up on my counter. I have my watch, my headphones, my water bottle ready to go. I have everything prepped. the night before and making sure I go to bed early, and, just taking those steps to set yourself up for success is what I have to do. So I recommend. This is, I think, the most important advice is get a good pair of shoes. Now, everyone says this because it's important, so it needs to be said. You got to get a good pair of shoes. Get fitted. You can get fitted for free at a running store. I would highly recommend doing like the full fitting. Find a running store that has that, either the technology or someone who actually knows what they're doing and can give good advice and actually take a look at how you run, maybe on the treadmill. They can like scan your feet. They can do all sorts of things and bring you different brands to try, different sizing options, give you advice. And I think that's very valuable, and you should take the time to do that. And now, running shoes are not cheap, but I will say I think spending the money is worth it. Like, you got 2 feet. That's it. We don't regrow our feet like lizards. Okay, so, they regrow their tails or something. I don't know. I've been watching too many like animal related TikToks. Anyway, I've also heard people say you can buy earlier models of different shoes because all of the main shoe brands, like, they're very expensive. And so if you buy an earlier model that's like probably on sale now because they come out with new models, you could probably save a little bit of money that way. But then, just beware if you try to buy them again and they get rid of them. You get to start over like me. But anyway, a lot of places will actually accept returns and exchanges. I know Hoka does. Even if you've worn them outside and you decide that, hey, I hate these, you can either exchange them or bring them back and say, like, they didn't perform for me. So keep that in mind if you are scared to commit. But something to pair with that is each pair of shoes might need different socks. So maybe it's not the shoes you hate, maybe it's the socks. Or maybe it's not the socks you hate, it's the shoes. And so just kind of piecing together that information and finding what works for you, it's going to be a lot of trial and error. And I know it was for me, but again, maybe I have weird feet, I don't know. But I need custom inserts because I have the highest of all high arches every time I go into a running store. And I literally just did a rescan at Fit to Run over at Disney Springs because I was like, did my feet grow? Like, why aren't the shoes fitting in my size? But I found my true size. It's exactly the same. But anyway, when it scans you, it like gives you information about your feet and how one could be like slightly longer and just like things to keep in mind. But every single time the worker is like, whoa, you have high arches. And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I did at the Roadrunner store the foot mold where you like step onto them and they literally customize the molds to your feet, like each foot. And then they keep that scan on file. So every pair of my running shoes has a different pair of custom inserts, which, oh my God, that adds up. The amount of money I'm spending on running, I don't even want to add it up, but it's worth it. Like, you got 2 feet. That's it. You got to support your asset. All that to say is I like to have, honestly, 3 to 4 pairs of shoes at the same time to kind of rotate. We're training for a marathon, people. Sometimes you got to invest in the things that are going to help you perform. And personally, for me, that's having different shoes to rotate and also to match my different outfits. Because when I look good, I feel good, Moving on to my next set of advice is to be aware of your surroundings. If you're running outside, I swear to God, do not wear the over-the-ear headphones. I see so many people on TikTok because I definitely end up on runner TikTok because that's what I want to be. And the amount of people wearing over-the-ear headphones, just doing the same route, posting their route, their environment. Like, I bet I have so many thoughts going on in my head. That's why I keep like, but I saw this guy his whole account is like, someone will post a video and be like, all right, where am I? And like give very obscure clues and something that like most people would never be able to figure out like where they are, but he watches their video, takes in all the context clues and any like inferred information, and like, oh, this looks like a parking lot, that looks like a gas station, this looks like the license plate on this car looks like Texas. He went and found like where exactly they were, and let me tell you, I bet I could do that too. And I was watching this video and I was like, oh yeah, they're in Texas. Oh yeah. I've never been to that shopping area. But like, that's how easy it is for people to figure out where you are and what you're doing. And I don't know, that information can get into the hands of the bad people. So all that to say, be aware of your surroundings. And don't wear over the head headphones, or only wear like one earbud. Or personally, I love the Aftershocks headphones, and because I be sweating out here in Florida, they're like, I think they might be waterproof or like water resistant at least, and their battery life is amazing. So I love them. Amazon Prime Day is coming up. That's when I bought my Garmin and my Shocks, and I got them on sale. So if you got some running gear you're waiting to buy, I would take advantage of Prime Day. And I would also carry self-defense items, which those you can probably buy on Amazon as well. I have like a small pepper spray, or I got from Costco, like a combination like jogger fog that like clips on. I have the Go Guarded ring, which it's like a really heavy duty plastic protected by rubber, but it's a ring that like fits on your finger, and it's essentially like a weapon if you need it. GPS tracking with like a trusted family member or friend. With Garmin, it automatically sends my live track to like my family and friends that like I want them to have it, and like they're literally notified by email every time I start a run. So that kind of just gives me a peace of mind, like they can see exactly what's going on. And changing up your routine. Don't run in the same place every single week or day, or like have a predictable routine. That's just a big thing for me in general, because I, for one, am a paranoid girly. Two, I am a small girly. So, unfortunately, I have to be paranoid. Hydrate more than you think that you need, especially this summer. I've been loving the LMNT, like Element packets. It's essentially like liquid IV, but with like no sugar in it, and they're very salty, but I feel so good after I drink them, and they really help like hydrate and replenish electrolytes. I've also been liking the Salt Tab pills, and I also take them on my long runs. And my final little section here is what I wish I could tell myself this time last year. It's gonna get tough. It's gonna get tough, but you know what? You're tougher. All right, that was cheesy. Sorry, I had to. December will be really rough. December's hard because it's the month before DOPEY and Dumpy. It's holiday time. It's really easy to slack off. Maybe it gets colder out. Treats sound nicer and all of that, and vacation. It's tough, but you gotta stick to your training because future you will thank you. I would tell myself the Body Glide Skin Glide. It's a green bottle. It's like a lotion. It's not like like a deodorant stick. It's the lotion. That Body Glide cream needs to go everywhere. Everywhere. Everywhere you don't think you're going to need it, put it up there. That I wish I could tell myself so much sooner. But anyway, my last thing is do not go on a bender on New Year's Eve. I accidentally went a little crazy at Epcot New Year's Eve the week before DOPEY, somehow thinking that was a good idea. It wasn't. So, oops. All right, final section, by the numbers. We've got my countdowns from my posting date, which is June 27th. And these are for the registered Run Disney races. I am not registered for Wine and Dine. Sad. So I don't have a countdown for that, but let me know if you want me to add it. DOPEY, January 3rd through the 7th. That is 6 months and 7 days away. Dumbo, January 11th through the 14th. That is 6 months and 15 days away. Princess is February 22nd through the 26th, and that is 7 months and 26 days away. My pace update, I've been in that 12 to 13 minute range recently because I've just been doing easy runs and it's been freaking hot out. So definitely slowing it down. And I mean, not mad about it. I mean, we're building up heart rate, we're building up fitness, and it's not about going fast right now. So my total mileage for last week was 20.5 miles. I feel so accomplished. Like, I just feel so good about that. I had 4 runs. I did a 4.2 mile run, a 3 mile run, a 5 mile run, and then an 8 mile run. So feeling good. But next episode, I will continue chatting about dumpy training. I might hold another Q&A on my Instagram stories and ask you guys what you want to hear from me. Also, feel free to comment on YouTube or send me a DM on Instagram of things that you want me to talk about on here, and I will happily do so. But until then, thanks for tuning in and get moving.